The 2020-2021 season is easily the best in Arizona women's basketball history. The Wildcats started the season ranked 7th in the nation, the highest preseason ranking in program history. It would end with many more firsts. The tradition of banging the drum for every win led to a lot of loud celebrations at McKale. The Arizona women proving they were made for it, going 15-4 while finishing second in the Pac-12. Aari McDonald was named Pac-12 Player of the Year and Co-Defensive Player of the Year. After a semifinal loss in the Pac-12 tournament, the Wildcats were a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. Arizona dispatched Stony Brook and BYU, advancing to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1998.
I was concerned about how we're going to come out. Like, are we going to be too nervous? It's our first time in the tournament. This is uncharted territory, but we handled it like champs. I thought we came out just with the intensity that I expected and I wanted to see.
The Wildcats then dominated a strong Texas A&M team thanks to a 31-point effort from McDonald. Arizona's first Elite Eight appearance ended with 33 from Aari and a 13-point victory over Indiana. Up next, the Final Four and mighty UConn. The Wildcats' historic run continued with a 10-point win over the Huskies. Arizona landed in the title game against conference rival and perennial power Stanford. Despite a poor shooting night, the Cats still had a chance to win at the buzzer, but Aari McDonald's desperation shot was off the mark. The Wildcats lose a heartbreaker, 54-53 to Stanford in the national championship game.
I'll remember most of this ride. I mean, we had a great run in NCAA tournament. We accomplished a lot that many didn't think we could do, and it was tough, but I'm very proud of my teammates.
10 days later, Aari McDonald was taken 3rd overall in the WNBA draft by the Atlanta Dream. But for Arizona, it was a season for the ages. Adia Barnes and the Wildcats had arrived on the national stage.
For the first time in 12 years, Arizona men's basketball has a new head coach, and that means not only a new leader in the locker room, but also a new direction for the whole program.
After 2 decades as an assistant at Gonzaga and fresh off a national championship game appearance, Tommy Lloyd will now look to build Arizona back into a college basketball powerhouse. He takes his family and his up-tempo style to Tucson, and he says this is the only other job he ever wanted to take.
I was either going to stay at Gonzaga forever, or if I ever got a chance to come down here and be the head coach, I'd come to Arizona. I mean, it wasn't any more complicated than that.
Lloyd was already tapped to be Gonzaga's new head coach whenever the great Mark Few moves on. Instead, he's taking what he learned from his mentors in Spokane to the desert.
Watching how they operate and through osmosis, some of that's come to me. And so that's why I'm comfortable, walking in my own shoes and feel like I'm prepared for almost anything that comes my way. I understand I'm an assistant coach. I understand I didn't play here, So, I mean, there were reasons to look elsewhere. But when the opportunity came for me to, state my case or show that I'm, worthy of this job, I wrapped my arms around it and gave it everything I had.
Lloyd played basketball overseas and brings his international recruiting prowess to Tucson. That's carried over into his coaching.
I like the way he sees the game, really European way, really international way, so that's really, really, really good for all of us, international.
He loves teaching the game. He's really detail-oriented, so if he sees something that's not good, he's going to tell you and just go walk with you and work on the details, the little stuff that make you a better player. And that's really something I really like about him.
The program still could face NCAA sanctions, with coaches from the Sean Miller era entangled in illegal recruiting allegations. Lloyd says he'll only worry about what he can control.
I respect the process, and I'm grateful to be here. And I understand for me to be here, I couldn't come here and probably under perfect conditions. For me, it's part of what I accepted to do. So I have no problem with it, and whatever happens, I'm going to be prepared to deal moving forward.
And Lloyd is already firing up his new fans.
We're not looking for a total rebuild. We're looking to come out and kick ass this year.
Taking the stage at a football pep rally this fall, he says this is where he belongs.
I'm a small town boy. I'm with you guys in my heart every day. I don't want to be in no big city. I'm not a Phoenix guy. I'm not an LA guy. I'm a Tucson guy.
Soon enough, we'll see how the new energy translates on the court. Ryan Fish, KGUN 9 on your side.
Tommy Lloyd might be in his first year as head coach, but he has plenty of experience on the bench with him. Steve Robinson joins the Arizona staff after being a longtime assistant under Roy Williams before Williams' recent retirement from North Carolina.
I wasn't ready to stop coaching. My wife told me I needed to get a job. So it all worked. Timing was right.
It all worked out after legendary North Carolina coach Roy Williams retired and new Tar Heels coach Hubert Davis decided to bring in his own assistant coaches. Steve Robinson, after spending much of his 38 years in coaching with Williams, decided to take up Tommy Lloyd's offer to come to Tucson and coach at Arizona.
It excited me when I heard about it, and so I just let's make a run at it and see what happens.
After being alongside Roy Williams for 26 years, Robinson says he could anticipate what moves he was going to make. Only at Arizona since September, Robinson says he hopes to develop that same intuition with Tommy Lloyd.
What I should do is learn what Tommy needs and wants, and then try to help teach that and convey that to those guys as we kind of go through and go along.
Robinson says Roy Williams had a very structured practice timed out to the minute. It's much different with the former Gonzaga assistant, now head coach at Arizona.
Tommy has a different approach to it. Tommy, he may have 10 things he want to cover today, and he gets through and he covers those 10 things that way. It's just so it's different. I like it because it just for 26 years I've kind of done it that way.
Robinson says he and Lloyd both have been longtime assistants for powerhouse programs and that they both know what's most important.
Winning, and a winning culture, and knows what it takes to win, and hopefully that rubs off and helps our guys to understand that on a daily basis, because you don't just win because you just say, okay, well, I want to win, or you don't just win because you say, well, I go to the University of Arizona, but we should win. No, you got to outwork people.
He's like a dad, honestly.
If anyone knows about first-year Arizona basketball coach Tommy Lloyd, it's Umar Balao. Lloyd first recruited Balao to Gonzaga when he was a Bulldogs assistant coach.
I think his personality, honestly, is not only about basketball. For him, it's about life. And what can I help this kid after when he's done with basketball, and what can I help him to be a great basketball player?
Balao was a member of the Zags rotation early last season as a freshman, but after a promising start, he suffered a thumb injury.
I struggled a lot to recover that, and I can say that's the reason why I was a little bit off the rotation.
His playing time was reduced, and when Lloyd went from Zags assistant coach to Arizona head coach, Balao wasn't far behind, joining the Wildcats as a transfer.
And the way he built a good relationship with his player, that was the reason why I followed him, because I trust him and I know he want the best for me, so that's the reason why I came down here with him.
The 7-foot Balao, who was once given the nickname Baby Shaq by a reporter,
he said I look like Baby Shaq and I play like a Baby Shaq,
is a physical presence in the middle.
He's a force. He's a force. He's a big boy. Anytime he's in that paint and you go up there, but it comes strong. You got to jump and you got to go through him, and that's not easy.
Balao's style complements the other members of the Wildcat front court. He's ready to contribute to his new team and for his old coach.
And for me, I bring so much energy and power inside, and also securing the ball. So I think we all have different type of versatility that will make us good.
Sophomore Kyra Criso calls returning to the Wildcats this season
Probably second best decision in my life.
So what was the first?
Coming here.
It didn't start out so well. Criso was ineligible last season until February because of a youth contract he once signed in Lithuania. Criso played in the final 8 games, and when Sean Miller was let go, Criso hit the transfer portal only to have Tommy Lloyd change his mind.
I like the way he sees the game. Really European way, really international way, so that's really good for all of us internationals. So this is a big part of what I like, and I just like how the way he is, how he tries to coach us, all these things combined.
During the offseason, Kyra Criso was able to meet legendary Wildcat Steve Kerr, the player he was named after. Criso keeps his first name on the back of his uniform. He'll also be making a position switch, playing point guard for Tommy Lloyd's team.
He's able to play fast. The ball gets in and out of his hands quickly, He's, you know, and on top of that, he's a great shooter.
I was point guard all my life before I came here, so it's nothing new for me.
What will be new is playing a full season and playing for a coach who has a reputation for developing international players, validating Criso's decision to return to Arizona. Kate Reese poses for a picture like a celebrity because she now is one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, people recognize me when I go to dinner, when I go to the gas station, when I go to Starbucks.
But Reese and the Wildcats now have to refuel after last year's run to the national title game. She's the leading returning scorer after Aari McDonald left for the WNBA.
I definitely think it's going to be a team effort. In the past, we've said that we were deep, but I honestly think we are really deep this year.
There are newcomers like Araya Copeland, but it's Reese and Sam Thomas who are the most recognizable Wildcats. And Reese is following in Thomas's footsteps after recently announcing she'll be back next year as a super senior.
It's an opportunity like you normally would never get, so I knew just coming back would mean so much to myself and to the fans and to my parents.
It's Reese who missed the fans as much as they missed her.
I'm so excited. They're really such an advantage to have a huge fan base like that.
Reese is poised to have another big season. It should be all smiles in 2021. Shayna Pelington executes a no-look screen and roll during practice, but everyone will be watching as she likely takes the place of Aari McDonald in the Wildcat starting lineup. McDonald was the Pac-12 Player and Defensive Player of the Year, leading the Wildcats to the NCAA title game. Pelington isn't trying to fill her shoes.
No, I'm not really looking at it that way. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, be the best I can be so I can help my team out in the best way I can.
Shayna just has to be the best Shayna. I think everyone's going to focus on who's the new point guard, who's going to be the new Aari, but it's really, we're just a new team now without Aari.
Sam Thomas was a Wildcat for one of the pre-Aari years, a season that wasn't so kind for Arizona women's basketball. But this is a deeper, bigger, and more physical team, something Pelington personifies as she dribbles hard down the court.
I'm just really quick. My speed, I try to use that to my advantage as best as I can. And my physicality allows me to get there and be super explosive. So that's always been a trademark in my game.
If Pelington has a weakness, it's been shooting.
It's gotten a lot better.
She worked on it in the offseason with Coach Salvo and while playing for Team Canada in the Olympics. Adia Barnes will also use others to play the point, but is confident in Pelington.
She's more coachable. She's more eager to learn. She wants to lead in the point guard position. She wants to do well. So I think I love that I see that. I think she's hungry.
We may have gotten a taste of what she can do. Pelington played arguably her best game of the season in the national championship game with 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals.
That's typically how I normally play. Throughout the season, it took a little bit to get a little comfortable, with myself, with the new team, playing in a new environment. I'm a lot more comfortable now. I'm a lot more confident in myself, and I'm ready to play.
McKale Center is a classic college hoops venue, and this fall, fans are back. That's a game changer for the people whose job it is to create the game day atmosphere for Arizona basketball.
For a full season, COVID-19 rules kept Wildcat fans out of the building. The games may have been real, but the pumped-in crowd noise was fake. Public address announcer Jeff Dean was talking to cardboard cutouts.
I feed off of the fans as much as the players do as well. So it's important for me to kind of get that feedback. You get that feedback from the fans. You could definitely tell that the team, they benefit from having the swell of emotion that the fans bring to the game. And you could tell that was missing.
Entertainment and promotions and parking for fans, all of it was put on hold.
We had to completely shift gears and make sure that the student athletes were still getting the best experience possible, and COVID obviously made that difficult without any fans.
This year's Red-Blue game gave the men's team a taste of what they were missing last year.
The adrenaline was crazy. Like last year, you're hearing everybody's shoes squeaking, hear coach screaming. You hear everything. Now it's like we gotta really lock in as more as a team, talk on defense.
Our fans came out in waves. People were wearing masks. People were just ready to support the team.
It's not just about fans returning, but specifically these fans here in Tucson.
McKale Center is one of the most difficult places to play in the entire country. It's why Arizona has developed such a great home record over the last 25, 30 years.
When I first got to Arizona, I was blown away by the crowd here, the tradition around Arizona basketball, the support, the loyalty. Our fans are absolutely incredible.
The fans in Tucson are extremely knowledgeable of what the game of basketball is, when to rise and cheer, when to cheer on their team, and kind of when to give them a little boost of confidence.
Following university rules, fans will have to wear masks inside McKale Center during games this season.
Eating or drinking in your seat is one exception, because as fans return, so will concessions that are revamped this year.
We're going mobile with a lot of things. We have some mobile concessions. We're going to have some new beer lines in the stadium. We'll have some new premium seating options.
And on the court, after a run to the national championship game for the women's team and new coach Tommy Lloyd bringing new energy to the men's side, there's a lot for the Wildcat faithful to be excited about.
Adia is pumped up about having this crowd sell out for women's basketball games. We got there with the WNIT tournament, and we have high hopes of doing that again.
I'm hoping that they've just been kind of building up almost like a transistor, and just kind of building up energy over the time that they've been away, so that when they're in the seats, when that first dunk happens, when the first alley-oop, the big three-point play happens, that they just blow the roof off McKale Center. That's what I'm really looking forward to and hoping that they bring.
Inside McKale Center, Ryan Fish, KGUN 9 on your side.